A poor security guard works 3 jobs to support his daughter. One night, he sees a rich woman's child in danger. Without thinking twice, he jumps in front of the bullets meant for her. 4 shots hit him, but he doesn't fall. His sacrifice changes everything forever. Before you watch full story, comment below from which country are you watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. The rain pounded against the windows of the Grand Palace Hotel. Marcus Chen stood in the marble lobby, his worn security uniform looking out of place among the crystal chandeliers and wealthy guests. At 42, his face showed the weight of 5 hard years since his wife died from cancer. Marcus worked 3 jobs to support his 8-year-old daughter, Emma. She was his entire world. Every morning before dawn, he worked construction. During the day, he did security at the hotel. At night, he cleaned office buildings. He barely slept, but Emma needed food, clothes, medicine, and school supplies. He had promised his dying wife that he would give their daughter everything. Tonight was supposed to be simple, just another security shift. But nothing would be simple after tonight. Victoria Ashford swept into the lobby like royalty. At 35, she was one of the youngest billionaires in the country. Her red dress cost more than Marcus earned in 6 months. Beside her walked Sophie, her 12-year-old daughter, a pale, fragile girl with frightened eyes. Marcus noticed Sophie immediately. Something about the girl's fear reminded him of Emma. He nodded respectfully to Victoria, but she barely glanced at him. To her, security guards were invisible servants. Sophie, however, gave Marcus a small, shy smile that touched his heart. 3 hours later, Marcus heard angry voices coming from a private meeting room. Through the partially open door, he saw Victoria facing an older man whose face was red with rage. 2 younger men stood beside him, clearly his sons. "You can't do this to us," the man shouted. "Mr. Donovan, business is business," Victoria replied coldly. "Your company failed to meet contract terms. I'm taking your properties as compensation. Those properties have been in my family for 40 years. James Donovan's voice cracked with desperation. "You're destroying us. Hundreds of workers and their families will lose everything." "That's not my concern," Victoria said, checking her expensive watch. "My lawyers will handle it. Security, escort these men out." Marcus stepped forward, feeling sick inside. He had heard these stories before, wealthy people crushing ordinary families without mercy. But he needed this job. Emma needed him. As Marcus led the Donovans to the elevator, James Donovan grabbed his arm. "You seem like a decent man," he said quietly. "But you work for a monster. That woman has no heart. She'll get what's coming to her." The threat in his voice made Marcus's blood run cold. The charity gala was in full swing. Rich people danced and laughed in the ballroom while Marcus stood guard near the entrance. He noticed Sophie sitting alone at a back table, looking exhausted and pale. His shift was ending in 20 minutes. He was thinking about getting home to Emma when the lights went out. Confused murmurs filled the darkness. Then emergency lights flickered on, casting everything in red. Before Marcus could reach for his radio, he heard gunshots. Screams erupted. People scattered in panic. 3 masked figures entered the ballroom with weapons raised. "Nobody move," one shouted. "We're here for Victoria Ashford." Marcus's eyes found Sophie. The little girl stood frozen beside her mother, tears streaming down her face. Victoria was trying to shield her daughter, but Marcus saw the terror in the billionaire's eyes. The lead gunman walked straight toward them, weapon aimed at Sophie. Marcus didn't think. His body moved on pure instinct, the same instinct that made him work until his bones ached for Emma, that made him check on his daughter 5 times every night. He ran. "Sophie! Get down!" Marcus shouted, sprinting across the ballroom. The first bullet hit his shoulder. White-hot pain exploded through his body, but he didn't stop. He reached Sophie and Victoria just as the gunman took aim again. Without hesitation, Marcus spread his arms wide and placed himself between Sophie and death. "Please don't hurt my daughter," Victoria cried. The gunman laughed cruelly. "You didn't care about hurting other people's families, Ms. Ashford. Why should I care about yours?" Marcus recognized the voice, James Donovan. "This is between you and me," Victoria screamed. "Let my daughter go." "No," Donovan said flatly. "You need to feel what I felt. You need to lose everything." He pulled the trigger. The bullet hit Marcus in the chest. Then another. And another. Each impact felt like a hammer blow. His vision started to blur, but even as his body screamed in agony, Marcus held his ground. He kept his arms spread wide, keeping his body between Sophie and the bullets. Behind him, Sophie was sobbing. Small hands grabbed his uniform, trying to hold him up. "Don't die," Sophie cried. "Please don't die." Victoria screamed for help. Security forces rushed in. Gunfire erupted as officers engaged the attackers. Marcus heard Donovan's enraged shout as he was tackled down. But Marcus barely registered any of it. His world was shrinking. He thought of Emma. Who would take care of her now? Who would read her bedtime stories? "Emma," he breathed. "I'm so sorry." Darkness took him. Marcus woke 3 days later to the beep of machines and smell of antiseptic. His entire body was on fire. When he forced his eyes open, a nurse appeared above him. "Mr. Chen, stay still. You've been shot 4 times. You're in the ICU." "The girl," Marcus croaked. "Is Sophie okay?" "She's fine. You saved her life." Relief flooded through him. Then panic struck. "Emma. My daughter Emma. Where is she?" "She's been here every day. You've been in a coma for 3 days while we performed multiple surgeries." Minutes later, Victoria Ashford walked in, and Marcus barely recognized her. The powerful billionaire looked exhausted. No makeup, no jewelry, just jeans and a sweater. Her eyes were red from crying. Sophie held her hand. "Mr. Chen," Victoria whispered, her voice breaking. "You saved my daughter's life." Sophie rushed to his bedside, tears streaming. "Thank you. You almost died for me. You took 4 bullets." Marcus tried to smile despite the pain. "You're safe. That's all that matters." Victoria approached slowly. "I need to explain something. Sophie has a heart condition. She's been sick since she was 5. The stress from the attack caused her heart to fail. We had to rush her to emergency surgery. She's on a ventilator now, fighting for her life." Marcus's heart broke. "Is she going to be okay?" "The doctors don't know," Victoria whispered through tears. "But Marcus, if you hadn't protected her from those bullets, she would be dead. You gave her a chance to fight." Sophie squeezed his hand. "I was so scared, but you jumped in front of me. You didn't even know me." "I have a daughter," Marcus said hoarsely. "Her name is Emma. She's 8. When I saw you in danger, all I could think was that someone's child needed help." Victoria broke down completely, sobbing deeply. "I'm so sorry for how I've lived my life. James Donovan was right. I've been a monster. I've destroyed families without thinking about their pain. It almost cost me my daughter." She looked at Marcus desperately. "You're a security guard making minimum wage. You have your own child to support. Why would you throw your life away for mine?" Marcus spoke from his soul. "Because that's what love looks like. Love means putting someone else's life before your own. It means sacrifice without expecting anything in return. I couldn't let Sophie die. I couldn't let you feel that pain." Victoria collapsed into a chair, still crying. Sophie hugged her mother. "He's good, Mommy," Sophie whispered. "He's really good." The door burst open and a little girl ran in. "Daddy!" Emma rushed to Marcus's bedside, her small face wet with tears. Mrs. Rodriguez, their elderly neighbor, followed apologetically. "Come here, Princess," Marcus said softly. Emma climbed onto a chair to be closer. She touched his cheek gently, afraid he might break. "I thought you were going to die," she whispered. "The police said you got shot." "I was so scared, Daddy." "I'm here, baby. Daddy's not going anywhere." Emma looked at Victoria and Sophie curiously. "Are you the people my daddy saved?" Sophie nodded. "Your daddy is a hero." Emma's chest puffed with pride. "My daddy is the best daddy in the whole world. He works so hard for me." Victoria watched the interaction with wonder. She saw pure, unconditional love between father and daughter. "Emma," Victoria said gently. "Your father is the bravest man I've ever met. He showed me what real love and courage look like." She pulled out a card. "This has my personal number. If you or your father ever need anything, you call me immediately." Emma looked at Marcus for guidance. He nodded. "Okay," Emma said, taking the card carefully. The next 3 weeks were agony. Marcus fought through constant pain and difficult physical therapy. But Emma came every day after school, sitting beside his bed, telling him stories, drawing pictures. Every time he looked at his daughter's face, he found strength to push through another day. Victoria visited regularly. Each time, she looked different, softer, more real. "I've been thinking about what you said," Victoria told him during one visit. "About love and sacrifice. I built my business by being ruthless. But watching you fight to recover so you can take care of Emma, that's real strength." She sat beside his bed. "I've made changes. I met with the Donovan family. I returned their properties. I've been reviewing every business deal, looking at all the people I've hurt." Marcus watched her exhausted but lighter face. "That takes courage." "You inspired me," Victoria said. "Sophie talks about you constantly. She calls you the angel who saved me. She's still fighting for her life on that ventilator. But knowing people like you exist, it gives us hope." For weeks after the shooting, Marcus's phone rang early one morning. Victoria's voice was thick with tears, but different. "Marcus, can you come to Sophie's room? Please. Right now." Fear shot through him. "Is she? Just come. Please." Marcus and Emma rushed to Sophie's room. When they pushed open the door, Marcus froze. Sophie was sitting up in bed. The ventilator was gone. Her eyes were alert, her cheeks had color. "Mr. Chen." Sophie exclaimed, her voice weak but clear. "They found a donor. I got a new heart." Marcus felt his own heart stutter. "What?" Victoria stood and walked to him, her face radiant. "Last night they found a perfect match. The surgery was this morning. My daughter is going to live, Marcus. Because of you. If you hadn't given her those extra weeks, she never would have received this heart. You saved her twice." Victoria hugged Marcus carefully. She was crying and laughing. "I got my daughter back. Because of you." Emma tugged Marcus's hand. "Daddy, can I meet her?" Emma walked shyly to Sophie's bedside. "Hi, I'm Emma." "You're Sophie, right?" "Yes. Your daddy saved my life. He's the bravest person ever." "I know," Emma said proudly. "He's my hero." The two girls smiled at each other, pure, innocent smiles. A friendship was born. Marcus watched his daughter with Sophie, tears streaming down his face. All the pain, all the fear, all the sacrifice, it was worth it. Every bullet, every sleepless night had led to this moment. Over the next months, Marcus's life transformed completely. Victoria paid all his medical bills and set up a trust fund for Emma's education. She offered Marcus a position as head of security in her company with 10 times his previous salary. "I want you on my team because you're a good man with integrity," Victoria said. "That's what my company needs." Marcus accepted, making sure he could still spend evenings with Emma. Some things were more important than any job. Sophie's recovery was steady. The new heart worked beautifully. She and Emma became inseparable, having playdates every weekend. During one visit, Victoria looked around Marcus's small apartment. "Move in with us," she said suddenly. Marcus looked surprised. "What? I have a mansion with 15 bedrooms. Most are empty. Sophie asks about Emma every day. Or we could be a family. Sophie needs a father figure. Emma needs security. And I need good people around me who remind me what matters." Marcus hesitated. "Victoria, I don't want charity. I don't want Emma thinking money makes life good." "That's exactly why I'm asking," Victoria said earnestly. "You could teach Sophie what you've taught Emma, that love and character matter more than wealth. Please, Marcus. As my family." Emma and Sophie had been listening. They ran over. "Please, Daddy." Emma begged. "Sophie is my best friend. Please, Mr. Chen." Sophie added. "You're like the daddy I never had." Marcus looked at the hopeful faces. He thought about all those exhausted nights working, worrying about making rent. He thought about the promise to give Emma everything. Maybe everything didn't mean doing it alone. "Okay," Marcus said quietly. "We'll try it. As a family." The girls erupted in cheers, hugging each other and laughing. Victoria's eyes filled with happy tears. Moving into Victoria's mansion was surreal. Emma got her own suite with a reading nook. Marcus had a bedroom bigger than his entire apartment. But the most amazing thing wasn't the luxury, it was the feeling of home. Sophie's health improved dramatically. She gained weight, her energy returned, her smile brightened. She and Emma were like sisters. Victoria changed completely. The cold businesswoman disappeared. She spent less time at the office, more with the girls. She learned to cook. She volunteered at children's hospitals. She used her wealth to help struggling families. "You changed me," Victoria told Marcus one evening on the terrace, watching the girls play below. "I thought success meant crushing everyone. But you showed me the truth. Love is the greatest strength." Marcus smiled, his hand touching his chest where scars had healed. "My wife used to say we're all here to help each other. That night in the ballroom, I didn't think about surviving. I just thought about saving a child. And somehow, I saved myself too." "We saved each other," Victoria said softly, squeezing his hand. It was gratitude, friendship, and maybe something deeper. 2 years after that terrible night, Marcus and Victoria stood together in a garden ceremony. Emma and Sophie were flower girls, both 10 years old and inseparable. The wedding was simple but beautiful. Close friends, Mrs. Rodriguez crying happy tears, and the Donovan family, Victoria had reconciled with them, all attended. When Marcus said his vows, his voice was full of emotion. "Victoria, 2 years ago I was just surviving. Then one night changed everything. You showed me that people can change. You gave Emma opportunities one never could have provided. You gave me a family when I thought mine could never be whole again. I promise to protect you and Sophie with every breath. I promise to teach our girls what it means to be good and kind. I love you, Victoria." Victoria could barely speak through tears. "Marcus, you saved my daughter's life with your body. But you saved my life with your spirit. You showed me I had lost myself. You taught me that the richest person is the one with the most love. I promise to honor your sacrifice every day. I promise to love Emma as my own, just as you love Sophie. I love you, Marcus. You are my hero, my home. When they kissed, Emma and Sophie cheered loudest. The girls ran forward and wrapped their arms around both adults in a family hug that made everyone cry. Marcus stood in his office at Ashford Industries, looking over the city. At 49, he had gray in his hair and scars that ached when it rained. But he had never been happier. The company had transformed. They implemented fair practices, created programs to help struggling families, and established a foundation providing good jobs for single parents. Emma was 13, excelling in school, wanting to become a doctor. Sophie was 15 and healthy, volunteering at children's hospitals. They were still best friends, still sisters. Marcus's phone buzzed. Victoria's text, "Come home early." The girls made dinner. They have a surprise. When Marcus arrived home, the dining room was decorated with handmade banners. "We love you, Dad," in glitter across the wall. During dinner, Sophie stood. "Dad, we have news. I've been working with the Heart Foundation, and they want to create the Marcus Chin Hero Fund. It will help families with loved ones waiting for transplants. It will pay medical bills and support so they don't have to work 3 jobs like you did." Emma bounced excitedly. "And they want you to speak at schools about bravery and sacrifice." "We're so proud of you, Dad," Sophie said softly. "You saved my life, but you've also shown us how to live. How to be good. We want the world to know about you." Marcus looked at his family, his wife, his daughters, and thought about the journey. 4 bullets. Weeks in coma. Months of pain. But also, 2 girls who would grow up knowing love conquers hate. A woman transformed. A family built on sacrifice and choice. "I'll do it," Marcus said. "If it helps even one person, it's worth it." Victoria took his hand. "Do you ever regret it? Taking those bullets?" Marcus looked at Emma's smile, Sophie's healthy glow, Victoria's loving eyes. He thought about letters from people saying he inspired them. About James Donovan's transformation in prison. About all the ripples of good. "Not for a single second," Marcus said firmly. "Every scar was worth it. I would do it again in a heartbeat." 6 months later, Marcus stood on stage before 500 first responders and medical professionals. Emma, Sophie, and Victoria sat in the front row. Marcus's hands shook as he gripped the microphone. "7 years ago, I was drowning," he began. "My wife had died. I was raising my daughter alone. I worked 3 jobs and couldn't pay bills. I felt like a failure. Then one night, I saw a child in danger. I didn't think about my problems. I just saw a little girl who needed help." The room was silent, focused on his words. "I took 4 bullets that night. I almost died. But that moment of sacrifice gave me everything that matters." He gestured to his family. "It gave me purpose. It gave me a family. It showed me my life had meaning beyond just surviving." His voice grew stronger. "I'm not special. I'm just a man who chose to act when action was needed. Every one of you has that same power. Whether you're a firefighter, police officer, doctor, or security guard, your choices matter. Your courage matters." Marcus paused. "But here's the important part, sacrifice doesn't have to mean dying for someone. Sometimes it means living for them. Working hard when you're tired. Showing up when you want to quit. Choosing kindness when anger would be easier. That's everyday heroism." He looked directly at the audience. "Love your families fiercely. Protect the vulnerable fearlessly. Live with integrity daily. And when that moment comes when you must choose between your comfort and someone's safety, choose sacrifice. Choose love." Marcus's voice broke. 7 years ago, I thought I had nothing to offer. I was wrong. We all have something to offer. We all have the capacity for courage. We all can change someone's life with one act of selfless love. He finished simply, be brave. Be kind. Be the reason someone believes in good people. Thank you. The applause was thunderous. Marcus watched Emma wipe tears and Sophie mouth, I love you, Dad. Victoria stood, clapping, her face shining. After the speech, dozens thanked Marcus. A young security guard with tears said, you made me proud of what I do. I thought I was nobody, but you showed me I could be somebody. A single mother approached with her children. I work 2 jobs like you did. Some days I want to give up. But your story gives me hope. Marcus hugged her gently. You're stronger than you know. Keep going. It gets better. 10 years after the shooting, James Donovan appeared at Marcus's door. Released from prison, he was 70 now, his hair white, face lined with regret. Mr. Chen, I understand if you don't want to see me. But I needed to tell you in person what I've spent 10 years thinking about. Marcus stepped aside. Come in. They sat in the living room. Donovan spoke with raw honesty. I destroyed my life with hatred. I blamed Victoria and let that poison everything good in me. I almost killed you and an innocent child. His eyes watered. But then I saw you stand up. I shot you again and again, and you didn't fall. You stayed between me and Sophie like a wall of love. Something in me broke. Donovan's voice cracked. In prison, I had years to think about what I saw. You could have run, but you didn't. You chose to be good when I chose evil. That difference haunted me every day. Why are you here? Marcus asked. To thank you, Donovan said simply. For showing me what real strength looks like. For inspiring me to change. I've spent 10 years helping other inmates deal with anger. I've been trying to become the man I should have been. Because of you. He pulled out worn paper. I wrote this, hatred destroys the hater. Love saves everyone it touches. One act of courage can break the cycle of pain. Marcus read the words, throat tight. You really have changed. Yes. And I'm sorry. So deeply sorry for the pain I caused. I can never make it right, but I'll spend my life spreading the lesson you taught me. Marcus stood and extended his hand. Then you're forgiven. Donovan looked shocked. Just like that? Forgiveness isn't for you, Marcus said gently. It's for me. It's choosing not to carry the weight of your actions. It's letting love win. You've changed. You've paid your debt. Now you get to live as a better man. That's enough. Donovan shook his hand with both of his own, tears streaming. Thank you for everything. After he left, Victoria found Marcus by the window. You forgave him, she said, wrapping her arms around him. I did. Because that's what love does. It forgives. It heals. If I hold hatred, his bullets still control my life. But if I forgive, love wins completely. Victoria rested her head against his back. You're the best man I've ever known. I'm just a man who learned every choice matters, Marcus replied. Every time we choose love over hate, forgiveness over vengeance, those choices ripple out and change the world. On the 20th anniversary, a memorial was unveiled at the hotel. A statue of a man with arms spread wide, shielding an invisible child. The plaque read, in memory of the night when love conquered hate. This honors Marcus Chen, who chose sacrifice over safety, courage over fear, and love over life itself. May we all strive to be so brave. Marcus stood before it, now 59, walking with a cane. His body bore permanent marks, chronic pain, limited mobility, scars. But his heart was full. Emma stood beside him, now a trauma surgeon. You inspired me to do this, Dad. Every patient I save is because you showed me what sacrifice looks like. Sophie was there with her husband and 3 children. Her oldest, 8-year-old Marcus, looked up at the statue. Mom says you're the bravest person in the world, Grandpa. Not the bravest, Marcus said, ruffling the boy's hair. Just someone who chose to do the right thing when it mattered. Victoria stood slightly apart, looking at the statue with tears. Her silver hair, laugh lines, she had aged gracefully. Her company had become a model of ethical business. Come here, Marcus said, reaching for her hand. Together they looked at the statue, the moment that changed everything. Do you know what I think when I see this? Victoria asked. What? I think about the woman I was before. Cold, ruthless, empty. I had everything money could buy but nothing that mattered. Then you bled on that floor, and you cracked my heart open. You showed me how to be human again. She turned to face him. 20 years, Marcus. 20 years of being loved by you. 20 years of watching you be an amazing father. I know you still carry pain. But you saved more than Sophie's life. You saved mine too. Marcus pulled her close, ignoring his body's protest. We saved each other. That's what love does. It saves us all. As the sun set, family gathered around the memorial. Emma's children played with Sophie's children. Mrs. Rodriguez, 95 but sharp, told stories. James Donovan appeared at the edge, hesitant. Marcus waved him over. Come join us. You're part of this story too. Victoria greeted him warmly. Thank you for coming. Thank you for changing. Thank you for forgiving, Donovan replied. It was perfect grace, victim and attacker standing together, both transformed by love and sacrifice. A reporter approached for a final quote. Mr. Chen, what do you want people to remember about that night? Marcus thought carefully. I want them to remember that we all have the capacity for courage. That love is stronger than hate. That one person choosing right can inspire thousands. That sacrifice is never wasted. And that every one of us has the power to change lives, we just have to be brave enough to try. Do you have any regrets? Marcus looked at his family, wife, daughters, grandchildren, all the lives touched by his choice. He felt the constant ache, remembered the fear, the certainty he would die. Not one, Marcus said firmly. I would do it all again. Every bullet was worth this. Every moment of pain led to a lifetime of love. That's not a bad trade. As night fell and family headed home, Marcus took one last look at the statue. In the lights, it seemed almost alive, arms spread wide, shielding, protecting, loving. 20 years ago, a single dad took bullets to save a millionaire's daughter. Tonight, that daughter was a mother teaching her children about courage. The millionaire had become a philanthropist changing thousands of lives. The single dad had become a grandfather surrounded by love. And the lesson remained simple but powerful, love wins. Always.